Okay, so this is just going to be a little DIY, do-it-yourself kind of conversion from a normal terrarium to a bioactive terrarium. What we've got here, I didn't actually get any footage of it, but it's a nice little homemade blend for the substrate. So I've got some coconut fibers, some cypress mulch, just a little bit of cypress mulch. I don't really like the big chunks of wood just kicking around in there. That's just a personal preference. And then I have some sphagnum moss just blended in there. I just kind of threw everything in here. I mixed it all together, and I'm going to spread it out throughout the terrarium. I've also got a few live plants. Not too sure, I don't remember exactly what the name of this one is. It's very small. It's going to grow kind of like a tree. I'm going to set that up once we've got everything established. That's a bird's nest fern. I ended up picking up some powder blue isopods. I'm going to show you guys a little bit more of that later when I introduce them, and some springtails. They're both very small colonies right now, but eventually they'll grow and spread, and hopefully it'll be self-sustaining. On top of that, I built a basking platform over here. So this is very simple, just PVC piping. I used a little bit of clear silicone. Make sure that you do use the animal safe one. Yeah, and then on the top here, it's a nice big tile. It's 18 by 18. I used some egg crate for the bottom, siliconed it all together, used a couple of zip ties here. I will have a video on kind of how I did that. It'll be a quick, real voiceover. I didn't get much footage of it, just a few pictures and maybe a few videos here and there. Cork bark, whatever you want to call it, that I'm going to try and incorporate in there. It's going to be great food over time when it starts to rot away and decay. The powdered blues and the springtails are going to use that for some food, some nutrients, and a very, very small bag of leaf litter. This is really just to help them get themselves going. I'm probably going to end up picking up a much larger bag. Perfect. So one thing I did just want to take a quick minute to mention is when you're mixing the substrate or making your own, you're making your own blends, you just want to make sure that if there's any sort of clumps with the moss or the coconut fibers, because it will clump, you just want to make sure to break it up and make sure it's mixed around nicely. There's no big chunks. I would not recommend using coconut fiber on its own, just because it will get packed down over time. It will clump. It won't hold the humidity as well. When you make those nice blends, it allows natural air pockets and stuff, and eventually, with all the little bugs we're going to be putting in there to kind of make this terrarium self-sustaining, they'll be also creating natural air pockets as well. So when I got this vine, I didn't realize it's all one piece. It's a nice feature. I mean, it comes with a suction cup. You can stick it up along the back wall. For taller terrariums, that might be fine, but for what I'm using it for, I'm actually going to need to cut off sections. So I'm going to end up cutting them all into individual pieces. Once I've got them cut all into pieces, I'm going to end up wrapping them around the legs so it looks a little bit more natural, as I was saying earlier. So yeah, I'm just going to cut off a few pieces here, and then I'm going to get started on wrapping them. And to hold them in place, I'm going to use some zip ties. It's just a standard bag of zip ties. I actually got this from the Dollarama. Gotta love saving a few bucks there. Ideally for tegus, you would want at least 6 inches of substrate. This is the first time she's ever been able to burrow. The person we got her off of, they had a nice cypress mulch. Don't get me wrong, they had a beautiful home for her. However, it certainly wasn't ideal, and it wasn't very naturalistic to where they originate from, which in this case, Argentina. The whole reason why I even built this platform here is to be, a 2-in-1. So she can bash, she can get her UVB, she can get her heat, and then underneath she can use it as her little burrowing hide type of deal. So I'm just pretty much packing all this substrate down in there so she could eventually burrow and make her own little home. Anybody that knows tegus, especially when they start to get larger, if anything's in their way, they'll move it. We used to have a little plant there. She actually ripped it right out of the pot. And the reason why we keep it in a pot is because she'll actually end up eating up all the roots and just digging through it, because that's all they do, they dig. However, I just want to make her life super easy. I want her to enjoy her new home. So pretty much what I did is I took these 2 pieces of vine here and I interlocked them. Believe it or not, they are the 2 pieces I originally started with. There you go. So I just kind of intertwine them enough that they really just hold together. They pretty much almost clipped in. It's very simple. Hey, baby. This gives me some time to mix everything up over here. Maybe get some more down in there, back it down a bit. You're probably wondering what I'm up to, eh? Okay, so as you can see here, I've got the vine finally incorporated in there. That's going to be what she uses to climb up onto her basking platform. I've also got the plants planted. Over on this side here, like I said earlier, I left them in the pots just to avoid her ripping up the roots and killing the plants. If they get healthy enough, I might end up taking the pots out and then planting them. But when they're that big, the tegus just like to really dig and move stuff around. Anything that gets in their way, they are going to move it. Like I said, she already killed one of our plants. Now it's just the last touches, so we're going to release our powder blue isopods. I don't know if you'll be able to get a good enough footage. So yeah, we're just going to slowly release these guys in here. Give them some time to find their